Hello friends of visual merchandising. I'm Marcos Andrade. I'm Vice President of the Latin American Visual Merchandisers Association and CEO of Export Mannequins. And I have the honor to have my guest here, Marjorie Lee Woo, that came for our 4th international workshop here in Guadalajara. Marjorie, thanks for coming. It was great to have you here.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm delighted to be a part of this conference.
And so I'll later introduce. Marjorie has been teaching visual merchandising for many years. She's like a recognized professional, has a lot of experience, knows a lot about fashion and art. And guess what? She designs hats. And this is one of your creations.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know, art and fashion is so related to everything we do in visual merchandising. And the reason I was drawn to hats was I felt like it was the finishing touch to whatever look I wanted or image I wanted to convey. And those are the same things that we translate in visual merchandising as well.
Also became like a part of your signature.
Yes, it did. It did. If I rarely walk out without a hat, someone will say, there's something different about you.
And you have the closing session.
Yes, when I was informed I had the closing session, I thought, oh, no pressure.
So you did very well, and it was great, like how you shared your information, your knowledge about like how art influenced fashion and how the visual merchandising can use all those references for creating like this engagement and also like to move the hearts of the customers.
Exactly.
So do you think that like the effective visual merchandising should affect the emotions of the customer?
Definitely. I think that if it doesn't stir some type of emotion, then it's not effective. And sometimes you'll see, even in New York, negative, you know, a negative interaction is at least it's worthy of exposure, you know.
And do you think that even maybe like the customer, they don't know the reference and that they will get impacted by that?
Yes, I'm hoping that it's enticing enough and it makes them curious enough that if they're not familiar with the artist or the iconic influence, that they would at least go home and Google it. Yes.
Yeah. So can you give us like one good example of like the art being used in visual merchandising? Like you mentioned some cases in your presentation, like the jewelry market. Do you think this is just for luxury, or could also be used for like more accessible fashion?
Art and fashion influence is such a strong influence in visual merchandising. I think it could be used in the high-end level as well as the moderate and the lower end to the masses. I mean, it only serves to educate our consumers, and the more they're educated, the more information they will have to buy.
That's great. So, and how about some examples?
Okay, I think in my presentation, there's one influence that has been prevalent at least over a decade, and that's the artist Marjorie and color blocking. I mean, you will see that it was Yves Saint Laurent that created the iconic dress, okay? That's how it all began. He's given credit for it. And we see the influence of that in fixturing. We see that in the influence of other paintings. We see that in the influence of the fashion itself. And we continue to see it, and it doesn't have to be as exactly as Mondrian originally painted it, but just touches of it. Yes, exactly.
Many of fast fashion companies now use capsules for special collections. Yeah,
yes.
That probably is some kind of also of connection with artists and fashion and design.
Exactly. And I know I had a question in the session today. What I thought about the effects of fast fashion to high fashion, and I think it's an excellent connection. One doesn't negate the other. It only serves to, and some of the iconic designers such as Karl Lagerfeld, who was the first one to collaborate with H&M. And he understood that not everyone could afford his fashions, but he wanted to make it available to the masses. So he collaborated with H&M. Everyone else saw how successful it was, so the trend has continued. It's only become stronger. And when you think of, say, Target, who's the store that has everything, well, they've been collaborating with artists for probably almost as long as when Karl Lagerfeld first did it with H&M. And they're still, they used to have to go and knock on doors to get designers to cooperate. Now there's a wait list, people that want to collaborate with Target, they have to wait.
So make art and fashion accessible,
Exactly.
which is a good thing.
I think so.
That's right.
I think so.
That's great. So we are not like a long interview here, but do you have any message that you'd like to give to our viewers here?
Yes, I think I do. Inspiration is everywhere, and what I would suggest it's right there wherever you look. It's in nature, it's in the stores, it's even in your own home. So don't take it for granted. Look and listen and inspire. Thank you.
That's great, Marjorie. It was great to have you here, and well, thank you. This was Marcos and Marjorie for the ALFVM, the Asociación Latinoamericana de Visual Merchandising. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Gracias. Thank you, Marcos.